With our 3 additional rows completed, now we're ready to start our transition from the chevron pattern back up to a straight border. So if you have not completed or watched parts 1 and 2 of the series, do that first before you do this part, because this is a continuation of those 2 parts, and then we'll have one more part after this, and that will be the border. So here we go. Skip that first stitch right here. Skip that first stitch, and then we'll put a double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So 1, 2, then 2 half double crochets, and 2 single crochets, and in the chain 2 space from the previous row, we'll put 3 single crochets. And moving down the slope, 2 more singles, 2 half doubles, 2 doubles, we're at the bottom of the chevron again, and we'll do the same thing that we've done in previous rows, which is skip 3. So we'll skip 1, 2, 3, put the next stitch in this chain, or this stitch right here. So 2 double crochets, 2 half double crochets, 2 singles, and then 3 single crochets in the chain 2 spot, and repeat that to the end of the row. At the end of this row, we'll need to decrease 1 like we have before. So I have my 3 single crochets in this space, 2 more. I've done 2 half double crochets. Now I'll do 2 double crochets, with the second one being a double crochet 2 together. So yarn over, pull through a loop, pull through 2, and then we'll go into that very last chain. And there we go. That finishes our first transition row. With the second transition row, we've got our chain 1 and we turned. We'll put a double crochet in the same space, then 2 more double crochets. So we'll start this row with 3 double crochets, 2 half double crochets, and then we're going to do 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 half doubles, and then 3 double crochets. And that takes us down to the bottom of our chevron. So that's our first repeat there. And we'll continue to the end of the row with 3 doubles, 2 half doubles, then 5 singles, 2 half doubles, and 3 doubles. And we'll continue that way to the end of the row. At the end of the second transition row, we will just end with 3 double crochets, just like we did at the beginning. I'll put the last 2 in here. The last one should go in the turning chain. Chain 1 and turn, and this will be our third transition row. Chain 1 in there. We'll skip that first stitch and put our next stitch into this stitch right here. So double in that stitch and another double, then 2 half doubles, and then we have our 5 single crochets across the top, then 2 half doubles, two doubles, and we're at the bottom of the chevron. We're going to start decreasing that bottom part. So in this next 2 stitches, we'll do 2 double crochets together. So yarn over, put your hook in the first stitch, pull up a loop, and then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over into the second stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and that will decrease 1 stitch. And then we'll continue the same pattern all the way across, and that will be 2 double crochets, 2 half doubles, 5 singles, 2 half doubles, 2 doubles, and then we'll do 2 double crochets together. So let's finish that to the end of the row. At the end of row 3, we do need to decrease 1 more time, so we'll do a 2 double crochet together for the last 2 stitches. All right, now at this point, we're going to do 1 more decreased row, and then we'll be back to where we were at the beginning with 7 sets of 13 stitches each. So I'm putting these markers at the top of the double crochet 2 together. And this is where our repeat row begins and ends. On this row, we're just going to put double crochets across, but we do need to decrease 1 more time. So I will chain 3. That will count as our first double crochet. Okay, so we're going to put 12 double crochets, and then we'll decrease 1 with a double crochet 2 together, and then we'll continue like that all the way across. That makes 12 double crochets, and then we're at the end of our repeat row. So we're going to double crochet 2 together here. That will be the 13th stitch for this repeat, which is what we need. And then we'll continue. I'll just move that away for a second. We'll do 10 double crochets, and then 2 double crochets together all the way across. The 13th stitch on this row should be the last stitch, so you shouldn't need to decrease at the end. And that completes our transition. We're going to turn and just do a row of double crochets on the next row, and that will match our beginning row or our foundation row. One thing to be aware of, if you did not come out right, you have too many stitches or not enough, do not freak out. It is not worth pulling it all out and doing it again, unless it's pretty bad. If you're just off by a stitch or 2 here and there, then as you go through this next row, where we'll have 91 stitches, if you have too many stitches, then just put in a decrease at some point in there. If you don't have enough, then just add a stitch somewhere. Even if you're off by 2 or 3 stitches, do the same thing. It's really not worth trying to figure out what you did wrong, pulling it all out and doing it again. No one, I promise, will notice, except for maybe you. The row will be a row of double crochets, and there should be 91. And that is 7 repeats of 13 stitches each. So let's do that to the end of the row. That is the 91st stitch right there. So we're done with this part. Big relief, and I think it looks really good. I hope yours does too, and I hope you're happy with it. We are going to put in 1 row of half double crochets all the way around, and then we'll do the border in the next part. So this is the end of part 3. And I'm going to show you, we will put in our corner right here, and then we'll move down this side of the blanket, and then along the bottom, the other side, and the top. So to start our corner, we'll chain 5. And then put a half double crochet into that same stitch. That's our corner, and all the corners will be like that. They'll be half double crochet, chain 2, half double crochet. Then we'll start moving down the side. The sides are harder because you're not sure sometimes exactly where you should put a stitch. Along the top and the bottom, it's easy to tell because we already have stitches there. You kind of have to play it by ear, or at least I do. We want to put about the same number of stitches going down the side, and that would be 91. And so what I usually do is just put a few stitches in there and just see what it looks like, and then I can kind of tell if I'm doing too many or not enough. So I'm not going to count these. Some patterns will tell you to do that, but I think it's easier not to, because if you're not right on the pattern, then it's discouraging. So I'm just going to go along for a few stitches. These are half double crochets. And then I just lay it down like this and look at it. And what we want to have is about the same spacing as along here. And I'll continue again trying to space them out pretty evenly. And if you can pick up more than one strand when you go through, it will look a little bit better, I found. And every few stitches, just stop and take a look at it. See if it looks even, if the stitches are evenly placed and they're not too close together or too far apart. Now we're coming up on our overlay panel again. The sides are a lot more difficult. Along the top and the bottom, we already have stitches. And that probably looks a little bit better. So continue all the way around. In each corner, you'll put a half double crochet, chain 2, half double crochet. Then when you get to the bottom, we already have our stitches set from either the chaining or the foundation row. So it's easy to find the stitches. Kind of pull them apart a little bit so you can see where the corner is, like right there. And then continue all the way around, and I'll show you how to join. Here we are at the end of our first border row, and I'm going to show you how to join with an invisible join, so you can't see any knots, and it looks a lot more professional. So I'm just finishing the very end. I've got 2 more half double crochets. All right, now at this point, what we're going to do is join this stitch into here so that you can't tell that there's a join. So I'm going to cut my yarn there, pull out the tail, and then thread the yarn needle with this yarn. And then I'm going to count back 2 stitches on this chain section here. So that's 1, 2, and I'll be putting this needle through both top loops of that stitch. Let me show you that again. Here's that second stitch back. We'll go through the both top loops. Kind of pull it gently. And then the second half of this invisible join will be to go through the back loop of that last stitch we just made. So here's our last double crochet right here. I'm going to go through the back loop only. So we got 2 loops here. We're going to do the back loop only. And then we'll just kind of pull it tight a little. And there we go. So you can see that it looks like there wasn't even a join, and so that's called an invisible join. That ends part 3. Hooray! Our last part will be to put the rest of the border on, and I hope you'll join me for that.